listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Fame. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always. We're ready to do this thing, coming to you from ESPN 975, 92.5. And guys, we're coming off of a hell of a weekend. Humble Civic Center, Humble, Texas. Summer Champions 9, guys. I couldn't have asked for a better night. The guys went out there, showed up and showed out. I want to say big thanks to all of my crew that worked so hard on making that night come together. It was an all-day affair for my man Kevin Bernhardt. Big props to Kevin Bernhardt for working his behind off, making sure that the LED didn't go down, making sure the lights didn't blow up, making sure the sound, the mics and everything was working crisp and on point, man. I just want to thank everybody who had a part in bringing that thing together. More importantly, Walker Texas Lawyer, who sponsored that thing. Really big ups to Walker, because he's been here with Reality of Wrestling since day one, and we want to thank Walker for doing this thing. But man, what a night. Like I always say, what a night, what a fight went down at the Humble Civic Center, man. How you feel, man? I'm just now recuperating. I'm just now getting my voice back. I
know, me too. You know, mine's a little bit lower than normal. I got a nice little timbre to my voice, which I'm actually not mad at, to be quite frank.
It scares me, though. It scares me, man. Every time when I lose my voice and it goes away completely like it did over the last couple of days, it scares the crap out of me, because that's how I make my money.
Oh yeah, no. I feel you on that. It was a little crazy. I got a call earlier from Booker, and when I called you, you answered the phone. Hey, how you doing? I was like, what is going on right now with my man Book? But you sound good right now. You sound great. And you know what? I understand why you lost your voice a little bit. So did I, because of the energy that was in that building on Saturday in Humble. Man, north of 1,000 people came out to see independent wrestling and independent wrestlers. No old names, no name talent. You know what I mean? Of course, we had some help and assistance from Vix Crow and Trick Williams and Nick Patrick. But none of them were wrestling, right? They came to see the wrestlers from Reality of Wrestling go out there and do it. And I want to send a shout out to the three of them for showing up and giving us the rub.
You did put Alicia Fox in there, right?
Vix Crow.
Oh, Alicia Fox. Okay. I mean, that's the new name. Okay.
That's the new name. I'm trying to get it over. I'm trying to make sure I say it the right way.
The new name. We got to think about the old name. People still think about the old name.
Alicia Fox is a great name.
AKA Alicia
FKA, formerly known as Alicia Fox. They went out there, and you know what? I actually really loved the little improv and dynamic between Alicia and Trick out there. The fans were asking me, they're like, are they together? Are they an item? I felt the chemistry.
I told them, you know how we do it, man. We give you some bullet points and a couple of notes, and you go out there and do the rest. And I don't think I had to get Trick too many directions or anything like that. I knew he was going to be able to go out there and perform. Alicia's she's been in the business forever, so it's just her getting her feet wet from that position. I thought it was only fitting. I didn't want to throw her in the ring. First time that we see her here in Reality of Wrestling, but trust me, she's got something coming up down the line, guys. And like I said, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to get shut out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good.
Well, I loved everything about Saturday night. Again, I want to shout out to all the people in Humble and people who came from out of town. I had people in from Arizona who came just to see Reality of Wrestling live and in person. And everybody, rave reviews from everybody I've talked to. There's not one person who said, man, that was a waste of time. Man, that was a waste of money. People were saying it was the best show they'd ever been to. And that's consistent feedback from everyone. So 1,000 people look really good in Humble. I'd like to see it again.
We're going to do it again. It was good seeing my boy Nick Patrick, man. Nick Patrick, he's a guy that pretty much roughed the majority of my matches in WCW. And Nick was he was my road dog, man. We used to ride together all the time. That's the only guy that I rode with outside of my brother and RVD. Only people I ever rode with on the road. And Nick and I, man, we was like real road dogs. I remember we was coming through Alabama somewhere, man. And police car pulled us over. Police car was all the way on the other side of the median. and Nick and I was all the way on this side. And this police car came he literally hit his brakes, came all the way over the median, got up behind Nick and I, and we were going maybe 65 in a 60. I had it on cruise control, and police officer pulled us over, and he goes, and I go, I'm wondering, why did he pull us over? He said that he thought we didn't have our seat belts on. And he was all the way across this, the median. There's no way he could have saw if we had our seatbelts on. And he ended up yanking me and Nick out of the car. And this is back in the day. And, so just giving you an experience, black guy and a white guy riding down the highway. Pulled us out of the car, and he giving us, this, that, whatnot, and the other. And then he goes, do you mind if I search you? And I go, no, you can't search me. Search me for what? I got a suit and tie on. And Nick had his, a fanny pack and whatnot. He goes, you mind if I search the car? He goes, no, you can't search the car. You know what I mean? I said, what do you want to search the car for? You know what I mean? I said, what did we do for you to pull us over and want to have to search the car? And then he goes, well, we've been having a lot of stuff going on up in this area. Our police officer got killed. I go, well, I didn't kill him. You think I did it? So I'm literally talking like crazy. And cops still wanted to give us some trouble. And he goes, well, you may not want to let us search your car, but we can let our dog run around. And I go, well, let your dog do whatever you want to do with it. I said, because I can sue somebody around here because, such as I'm Booker T. I just start going off on him. And the dog went around the car, didn't do nothing. End up, going back. They put the dog up. Another police car rolls up on the scene. It literally breaks. It jumps out of the car. Happened to be one of the sergeants. Sergeant must recognize me because everybody got real nice, real quick. And me and Nick, we ended up rolling up out of that situation. Whether we had anything or not, that's another story. But Nick and I were so damn happy to roll away from that scene. And we think about it. Every time we talk to each other, we always talk about that moment, man, when Nick and I got hemmed up, man. That's a good friend of mine, man. That's ride or die. What was crazy, the cop separated us, and he asked me what Nick's name was. And I go, his name's Nick Patrick. But I was thinking about his working name, it's not his real name. Nick told the cop his name was Jody Hamilton. I go, oh, well, you know what I mean.
It's funny, too, with the boys and stuff like that, is you actually, like, half these people, I don't know their real name. Some of the boys.
No, seriously. I had to think about his real name myself after the cop, looked at me stupid. And I go, oh, that's his wrestling name, Nick Patrick, his name, Jody Hamilton, But it was too late. It was too late. I had already lied.
You're already out of that, man.
I already lied, so it's kind of crazy, man.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, and Nick, for me, it was just so cool to have him there because, you know how you talk back in the day about Sherry Martel being a legitimizer for Harlem Heat? Just seeing, and this is just for me being a wrestling fan long term, seeing Nick Patrick, given the final decision in the main event of our biggest show of all time for the world title or for our world title, it was like a legitimizer, man. It was just so cool to see him. And that guy, as far as like a referee goes, I was watching him almost more than the match just to see how he acted in his element. And every time, I mean, he was so good. I could go into, I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give secrets away, but he did such a great job.
I'm just glad to have Nick a part of my wrestling organization. That was awesome, man. That was awesome. Because, like I said, I don't have too many friends that I could really call friends, from that day, from that time, that's still around. Nick Patrick, man, Brian Hildebrand, man, those are two of my closest friends. Hildy used to ride with my brother and I as well, man, and he was a ref back in the day, died of cancer. But good dudes, man, good dudes, solid. We got to take a break. Stick around. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be back in a minute.
Will Allday versus Cameron Cole. Texas champion versus Reality of Wrestling champion. Years in the making. Ex-best friend versus ex-best friend. I know what I'm getting into. I know you're one of the most exciting, high-flying wrestlers in the business today. And for every punch you have, Will, I know the counter punch. Long ago, the years where we used to train together, and I remember every move. I remember everything in your arsenal, Will. So what is it gonna take? You see, for me, I'll do whatever it takes, and you're gonna find that out, Will.
Will All Day versus Cam Cole once again. But this time it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be best friend versus best friend now. It's not gonna be me looking in your eyes knowing that at the end of this, we just wanna see who the better man is. Yeah, let's talk about that match. And Cam, I knew getting into the ring with you then, how good you were. Cam, I know now that you're even more dangerous. But Cam, you strayed. Ever since you and I faced in that last match, a year ago, something changed. And you started walking down this dark path where you would do anything to win, Cam. And you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like weakness.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Got my voice back. It feels good. You know what's crazy? I've been saying good ever since WCW when me and Nick was rolling around.
Yeah.
I swear, that's how long I've been saying it. It's crazy.
And people try to take it from you, too. They try to claim it.
I remember Nick used to be back in the locker room. That is so freaking crazy. But let's get the elephant out of the room, guys. Ryback is not going to beat me up. I just want to get the elephant out of the room. And just to let everyone, I'm not scared. I'm not running. And the thing is, Ryback put a challenge out to me to a fight, a Bellator. He said even a Bellator fight. Look, Bellator don't want no parts of a fight between Booker T. No argument. Reality wrestling might put something on like that, but no real big organization is not going to do anything like that. But as far as the challenge go, I accept Ryback's challenge to a fight. Now, this is what I need Ryback to do. Just go out on his platform and say anytime he see Booker T in public, it's on. It's the green light, between both of us, and nobody's gonna get sued. And if we just happen to run into each other and something happened to happen, it just happened. Let's just say that. But I'm not gonna go looking for a fight or anything. That's just not me. Because you never call a person out to a fight. You never know what a person is capable of. But as far as defending yourself, oh my God, man, I'm always about defending myself.
Well, did not expect us to cover that territory today, but you know what?
Get it out there, man. I want to get it out there and get it over with. You know what I mean? Because I don't like people. You know what the thing is? I don't even know why he called me.
I still don't even know what his beef is.
So I did say, I wouldn't shake his hand because of some words that he said.
Right.
I think that I was valid for that.
Sure.
Be that as
prerogative.
Exactly. Be that as it may, what his excuse was, the reasons why he said it. I did say when he posted the thing, it was going to AEW. Come on, man. Quit playing, man. Quit playing with me. Quit playing. It was one of those type of. But that's all it was. It was just sarcasm. It was nothing no more than that. But to get called out to a fight and to be called the B word and the P word, that's something you don't call a brother. All right.
Oh, he used those words?
Yes. When you're from the neighborhood, you don't do that. You know what I mean? That's something, you never hear me curse and talk down a derogatory towards people. That's just not me. And when someone say that about me, it is on when I see you. so I mean, it's simple as that. And I'm not, but and the thing is, I'm an easy man to find. I'm at all the cons. I'm at all the big shows, So, sure.
I did not know those words were used, but nevertheless.
Oh, yes.
I will say this, and people can say what they want about what I'm going to say, but I've known you for a long time, and you're a man of your word, and I've seen and had firsthand accounts of issues that you've taken up with people when they've said something in a certain fashion that you didn't find pleasing. And I will say the receiving end for them was very not pleasing either. So,
yeah, well, you know, and a lot of times he works for WWE. He's not going to say anything. You know, he didn't want to get in trouble. You know, can you imagine the praise I would get just in case? Can you imagine the praise I would get from WWE if I beat the hell out of Robbie?
Well, again, we're not advocating for that.
I'm just saying.
I'm not advocating for that.
Trust me, I'm not advocating for it, but I'm just saying I'd have a 15-year contract.
Don't you already? Isn't it already like 10 years or something crazy?
I'm talking about add it on to that.
Add it on.
Just for good measure. General principle. You know what I mean? Seriously, you know, so now people would always talk, well, he's working for the company. Yeah, I do work for the company. I'll be working for the company forever. If something like that was to happen. But no, man, I just
well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Because now you've just given him another 5 months of content. I hope you know that.
I know it, man. But
I don't know him from Adam, and I really can't figure out.
The thing is, he's been suppressed. I'm trying to make sure I get him back out there, get him over, make sure people still know he's out there. You know?
Well, again, I don't know the man from Adam, and I'm sure you're going to be the first thing that he talks about when he sees this. No doubt. But I really, and I truly and honestly, I don't understand what his beef is with you specifically. I mean,
you know what it is?
What? There you go.
There it is right there. That's it. 6 World Heavyweight Championships. You know, D-Man.
So foolish.
That's got a lot to do with it.
And again, I mean, and we talked about this when we first talked about him going to AEW or whatever. Like, taking nothing away from him, Ryback had a minute in the business to try to make something happen, and it didn't work out. And his story isn't unique. You know, there are a lot of guys who had a moment, right? And it just didn't, for whatever reason, pan out. And it seems as though, you know, it's a bitter pill, and this is just my estimation of it. You know, for him to swallow it, I'm sure it'd be for anyone to swallow. But at some point, you know, you either you know, keep it moving, or if you call somebody out, you might enter the ganking zone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, man. It's just crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, me personally, I've done well. I've done well in this business.
Sure.
This business done me very, very well. We just had our Summer Champions Night. We just, you know, over the weekend, my man Shelton Benjamin, Carlito, I want to thank those guys for showing up.
Yeah, Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas. We've created something very, very special over this almost past 20 years. So I've been working on my retirement for quite some time. I'm so happy and I'm so content at this stage that I'm at. So I tell you, man, being upset and frustrated and you know, stressing over stuff, bruh. Come on, that's the last thing. I was stressing to get through that show last night because we had 1,000 people in the building. I mean, we had 1,000 people showed up for Reality of Wrestling to represent our wrestling stars, not you know, ex-WWE stars, not, you know, AEW got talent coming in. Our guys, something that I built with these hands. You know what I mean? From the ground with a bunch of help, man. Like my man Brad Gilmore, my man Kevin Bernhardt, my lovely Queen Charmel. So quit being so downtrodden with life, you know, and thinking about the past. You got to think about the future. You know, that would be my advice to Ryback more than anything. Think about the future, bro. And honestly, you know, I did say I would defend myself, and I do accept the challenge. But man, look, you need to get past this. You know, you need to think about, you know, life and calling people out to a fight so the fans that you're talking with, you know, can have something to listen to. Bro, you know, just ain't the way to go.
No, man. But look, back on the positive things. You were talking about it. I mean, that was the biggest crowd Reality Wrestling ever had. You called it going into it. We were going to have the biggest crowd. We ended up having the biggest crowd. We're still tallying all the numbers, counting all the receipts.
All the money is still coming in.
We're still
figuring it out. You know, PayPal, you know.
Venmos and Cash Apps.
Venmos, Cash Apps. I didn't even know about them too. But yeah, Venmos, Cash Apps, all of them. coming in. But it's awesome. And I think now is I realize we've been stuck in that little bubble out in Texas City for the last 8 years, pretty much, creating reality of wrestling. But we realize more so now than ever that people inside that loop, inside the Houston and surrounding area, they want reality of wrestling so much. So we're going to make sure we do our best to give it to you guys. At least 4 times a year, we're going to bring reality wrestling inside the loop in some arena. We hope to, put it in the, the Astrodome one day or something.
BBVA Cup. What do they call the Dynamo Stadium? Oh, I love that little place.
BBVA. It would be great to do BBVA, stadium. That would be so awesome. Outside on a nice cool
in the fall,
cool night, So yeah, so let's think about what's next.
Hey, and you know what? While we're still talking about Summer Champions 9 and giving flowers, everybody on the card from top to bottom did a hell of a job, and they went out there and they bust their ass. And I could sit here and I could give you praise on every match and every person in every match and specific feedback and praise. However, I want to take this time right now to give a big shout out to Ryan Davidson and Jacob Fatu.
The show was over after those guys worked.
They destroyed it, man. They gave the people a show. Everyone I talked to, that was the match. They brought up that. They brought up the Fatal 4-Way tag and the ladder match, and everything was good. And again, I'm not trying to undermine anybody, but that match between Ryan and Jacob was special. It was a special match between 2 guys at the top of their game, still in their primes, still with so much more left in the tank. And I really enjoyed seeing that. That was one of those matches that reminds you why you love this business. And I'm not even trying to overhype it, but I was like, damn, that was good.
I'm just glad to see Jacob Fatu back in reality wrestling, where I wouldn't say he started or anything like that, but I had a chance to work with him, for a little bit there. And I'm like, man, this guy's, he's next level. He's next level talent. He's WWE. He should be working with the best guys in the world because he is one of the best talent out there right now on the indie scene that hadn't been picked up. I want to get in this young man's head and try to guide him to that place because I really feel like he would make such an impact on the biggest stage to the world. The fans would go, good God, he's finally here. So let's see exactly what Jacob Fatu going to do in the future. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
In order to kick some ass, you got to bring some. I wasn't born the chosen one. I became the chosen one. Through hard work, determination, and winning.
The chosen one, victorious.
You're gonna be a big star. You already are.
I'm stronger. And I'm faster than anyone they ever put me in the ring with. Being the chosen one isn't just a nickname, it's a gift. And professional wrestling is my gift. That is an absolute, guaranteed. What's my name again?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame here on ESPN 97.5, 92.5. Coming off Summer Champions this weekend. Talking about that boy, Jacob Fatu, taking on Ryan Davidson in an awesome match for the Texas Championship. Ryan Davidson being the champion. I want to give Ryan Davidson his props as well, man. Ryan, one of those guys that's been with me for quite some time. He's what I call a road soldier, man. He's a general. He's a guy that's got some bars, you know, and some stripes at Reality of Wrestling. And I just want to say, as far as a guy who has stepped up to what Reality of Wrestling embodies, and that's going out there and being the best you possibly can and giving those fans that ultimate thrill ride and leaving them with a moment. Ryan Davison did that on Saturday night along with Jacob Fatu. Those guys, there again, man, they stole the show. They stole the show, in my estimation. That in hindsight was 2020. That match definitely should have been the main event.
Man, yeah, that's high praise. That's high praise, you know, and it's worthy praise. Again, you know, Ryan's one of those guys, though, and this is for real. Like, if you see him on the card, you almost don't even need to see who he's working. Do you know what I mean? I say, oh, Ryan's on the card, we're gonna have a good match right there, man. Yeah, he's almost automatic nowadays, and he's been at Reality Wrestling the entire time I've been, and he's always been solid, but the last couple years it went up a level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He went up to a gear. I mean, I didn't even know he could go any better, and he did. He was like, boom, I'm the guy. And there's a reason why he's the first one in Reality Wrestling to win all the titles. First Grand Slam champion. You know, won the last Stand Rumble. He's main evented everything. He's been in the K. I mean, he's your ultimate utility guy.
Yeah.
You know, what you say that you always were for WWE and WCW, Ryan Davison, in a lot of ways, is the same thing for us. He's like, if we need something, we know that Ryan can fit into anything that we possibly could use him for. And he can do it to the best of his ability and outshine even our expectations.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, as well as, you know, being a utility guy, not just in the ring on the shows, but in the gym training the young guys that's coming up as well. You know, every Thursday night, you know, Ryan has this night, Thursday or Friday night. But that's what's so cool about, you know, guys like Ryan Davison, a guy that's been around for quite some time, but still has that what I like to say, zeal, you know, still want to, you know, get out there and push himself even harder to still be at that next level. Because you look at a guy like Ryan Davis, he's not a small guy, but when I saw him do that donut off the top rope, I was like, this dude is crazy, man. You know, he still wants it just as much as everybody else on the card. So I love it, man. I love that attitude. Yeah,
man. And you know, and he's the locker room leader for a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys, they go to Ryan, you know, and he's earned that spot. Like you said, he's earned the stripes. The bars are on the jacket, man.
He's got some bars, you know. You want
He's got the zeal, he's got some bars, he's got stripes, he's got it all, man. Shout out to Ryan, man. Though one of the great guys to ever come through Reality Wrestling. One of the great guys I've ever met in the business, to be honest with you. We do have some super chats related to Summer of Champions 9. So I feel like we should probably do those while we're still talking about this tremendous event, which people are calling the greatest reality wrestling show of all time. So we might as well get to our super chat. Does that sound good to you?
Let's do it. Super chat.
Esino Dub said, enjoyed my first row show. So much fun. Shout out to the row members who helped me get my car on the road after the show. I guess he had some engine trouble. God bless. And he also said, was that Zilla's first match in front of a crowd? Shout out to the row members, by the way.
Hey, bro, that's what the row do. We got Brian Keith, you know, the king of the underground. He came to Reality Wrestling when he was like 17, 18 years old. He stole his mom's car and broke down in the parking lot. We had to give Brian Keith a ride home. He's craving Javier Vega. Both of them, they crying. But nah, man, that's what Reality Wrestling do. That's why we call it the Road Nation, baby. We always about helping out everybody at the road. But as for Zilla, man, yeah, that was Zilla Fatu's first match in front of a crowd, and you could tell he was very, very composed. He had that theme to where, you know, we say in wrestling, if you feel like you're going slow, move a little bit slower. He had that effect going on. His quickness and explosiveness was definitely there. You could feel his dad in the arena.
Yeah, you could, man.
I'm going to tell you that right now, man. I swear to God, you could feel his dad in the arena. I could see his dad sitting right there next to me, man. That's one thing about Umaga. He would not miss a Reality of Wrestling show. He wouldn't miss a show. He show up no matter if he was told not to show up, he still show up. You know what I mean? That's just, I'm serious. I mean, I know he wasn't supposed to be at the show a lot of times. And he's, man, the hell with it, I'm coming. But I can feel his presence in that arena on Saturday night. And I think Zilla felt a little bit of it as well.
It was a great moment, man. You know, and like you want to see all the guys and girls who come to reality wrestling. You know, you want to see them all win. And I've gotten to see a lot of debuts, man. I've gotten to see a lot of people's first match. I've gotten to call a lot of people's first match in their entire career. And it's always exciting. And Zilla did so much right in his first match. Like you said, a lot of timing, knowing that the crowd was there, right? Paying attention to them, giving them their moments at times, and soaking it in during the entrance and knowing this, you only get that first walk once.
Yeah.
Right. And he felt it. And so, you know, I'm proud of the performance that he put on, and give Johnny Lyons some credit too, for going out there and executing his role in everything, because you're only ever as good as your dance partner. So
as
people,
well as Dylan too,
and,
the Nature Boys.
Woo! The Nature Boys, Dylan Fleer.
I love those guys, man.
Me too.
Yeah.
And and so it was great. It was great. You know, and Zilla, man, you know, shout out to you, and you're first, and obviously first of many. And so we can't wait to see the next one. And I saw a lot of people picking up clips of him on socials and the news sites today.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people got eyes on him, man. So
everybody was, you know, tuned in to Zilla's, you know, debut match at Reality Wrestling, and I tell you, put a lot of eyes on Reality Wrestling as well. He's all over the social media news sites right now. Everybody's talking about Zilla's Fatu's debut, the son of late great Umaga, man. And I'm just, me personally, like I'm just glad to be a part of it. I was listening to, you know, Rikishi doing an interview, and he was talking about Zilla, you know, being in the school, and he said one piece of advice he's going to give Zilla, and that's just listen to Booker T. You'll be all right.
You know what? Because I did find the clip, and let me see if I can find it here. Speaking of that, I'll find it here in just a moment. I found the clip, there it is, of the Usos talking about their WrestleMania moment, and then sharing the advice that you gave them. Do you want to see this?
Yeah,
you want to hear it? So here we go. Let me pull this up for everybody. This was an interview that the Usos did with Ariel Helwani, and they were talking about their WrestleMania moment. If I can pull this up here, I will. And it was really cool because, again, they related something that you told them that I've heard you tell a lot of guys, and it's great advice because it was advice that you learned the hard way in your career. And here we go. Here is the Usos talking about that night. If I can get the
no one knows this, right?
Yeah.
Like
in LA.
LA.
Yeah.
After the match, after the 1, 2, 3, you know, the big pop, they're all in the ring. Sammy and Kale's in the ring. I just roll outside and lay by my brother, and we're just holding hands.
Grab his hand.
You know,
like I didn't even know what to say, bro.
Listening to
just holding his hand.
You know, we're just
looking up,
which is the best part, man. After you do work and you laying there like, you know, sweaty, tired and stuff, man, and the light, you're just looking up at the lights, but in the center of all that, it's almost like it's quiet. You can't hear because it's so loud.
You almost have this validation, like we're here now. Like now we're here, even though we lost. But I remember Booker said, bro, it's cool how you win, but it's even more how you lose out there. So yeah, y'all went out there, y'all did it good. Y'all did it, man. Y'all are here. So I just remember thinking, like, damn, man, we are here, man.
Emotional.
Like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing about you guys holding hands.
Yeah, man.
Did you say anything to each other?
Nothing. Just nothing. Just
you know, we was laying on, you know, tables, and you know, it was dope, man. You know, my mom's right here yelling. I'm like, we're all right, we're good.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah, man, I was the best. You know, you winning is one thing, but you got to lose better than you win. You know, those are the moments. You know, I've had those moments sitting there listening to the crowd. You know, and just say, we got to stay right there, don't move. You know, And those are the moments right there that you really feel like you've arrived. You feel like, okay, now I really know what I'm doing. I really know what this thing is about now, you know. And a lot of guys, I don't know if they ever reach that point, you know, because when you're on that level, it's about nothing but the performance. It's not about anything else but the fans and the way they feel. So that's the Shakespeare of it. That's the Romeo and Juliet part, you know, that you get caught up in. And trust me, man, I know exactly how those guys feel. Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
Definitely an incredible night.
We got to take a break, though. We got to take a break.
We do.
We'll get back to the Super Chat. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a momento. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking a little some super chatters. We still got what we got, Brad?
We got a ton of super chatters here. So let me
get them rolling.
Let me get. Also, we want to shout out to Quantum Fruit, who joined the YouTube channel. We appreciate you.
5 times, baby.
Mike Ailes says it's still real to me. Damn it! You've seen that video, right?
Which video is that?
Of the guy. It's still, you've never seen the "It's Still Real to Me, Damn It" video?
No, what are you talking about?
It's still real to me, damn it. You've never seen this?
Talking about wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, book. No, wait, hold on. We have to do ourselves a favor. If you've never, you won't get that.
Is it better than Lil Dane?
It's pretty high up there.
It can't be better than Lil Dane, man.
It's 30 seconds.
We gotta make sure we get some Lil Dane on the show.
We will get some Lil Dane on the show today, but this is worth taking a pause for just a moment. And this was a long time ago, and I'm sure this guy looks back at this video and laughs at himself too. So we're laughing with him, not at him. But this is one of the great videos of all time.
Question, Jeff, where are you? Right there. Yeah. I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for all you've done to your bodies. It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, thank you. Thank y'all guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Funk, for saying what needed to be said. I don't want to see it.
God bless him.
God bless him. I love him.
God bless him, man.
Love his passion.
But the fans, man, you gotta love them, man. I love the fans, man. You know,
gotta love them.
Real fans like that. You know, this guy came up to me on Saturday night after I was in the audience. Actually, he was in the audience, and I was doing my shtick, of course, and I called him a redneck. You know, sit down, redneck. That's wrestling talk. You know, I didn't really mean it or anything like that. You know, and he had a sign, and I took his sign and I tore his sign up into little pieces. And he actually caught me after the show because we did an autograph signing, and he said, "Man, I just wanted to let you know, man. I just want to say thank you because you came and visit me in Iraq when I was in the hospital." And he said, "Man, that was really awesome." He said, tearing my sign up, man, that made my night so much tonight, man." He said, I just want to say thank you. And he literally almost started crying. And I was like, wow, man, the way we touch people, the way we make them feel, you know. And I remember that trip to Iraq, and I tell people all the time, that was probably the best trip, most gratifying trip that I've ever taken in all of my years in this business was that trip to Iraq. Unbelievable. Yeah. Touched me like never before. And to meet someone like this kid, this guy who's a grown man now, at my show, and just to give me that moment, the way I made him feel back then by just visiting him, it's pretty awesome.
Still real to me, man.
Still real. Still real.
Yeah. So shout out. That is one of the first viral wrestling videos. So that
I love the fans, man. Still real to me, damn it. You know, that's internet to taking that away from people, man. Social media is taking that feeling away from people because people still want to believe in something, man. Peter Pan, no matter what it is.
It's still real to me, damn it. One of the great ones of all time. Ron Ferguson, who is your favorite wrestler to watch growing up and to watch in WCW?
Favorite wrestler growing up would be JYD. That's what wrestling we got when we first started wrestling. I'm watching wrestling was Houston Wrestling here in Houston, Sam Houston Coliseum, Paul Bosch. And JYD was huge, man, in Houston Wrestling, as well as he was someone that I could identify with. And he was a guy that was, you know, kicking butt, man. He's kicking plenty of butt, man, back in the day. So JYD was the guy, but in WCW, of course, I think it was Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair was the guy that really made me tune in every Saturday night. WTBS 6:05 p.m. every Saturday. Just because, man, I knew the Horseman was going to be doing something, and I knew Ric Flair was going to be styled and profile, and he was going to have a couple of good-looking ladies with him, and it felt like a show up that men wanted to, you know, want to watch and be a part of because it was an adult-like show, and Ric Flair was at the helm. He was just running that thing. So Ric Flair, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not love Ric Flair? And you know everything that he's been able to do in the industry. Big Breezo,
Super Chat.
I love hearing that. Wait, hold on. I gotta hear it again.
Super Chat.
It's one of the great ones. We don't give it enough love. Big Breezo says, for a wrestler like Gunther, love him, who doesn't lose often, how does that work?
What do you mean? How did that work?
I don't know what he means by that. For a wrestler like Gunther, who doesn't lose often, how does that work?
How does it work? The reason why he's not losing often is because he's a talent that they got on the radar that they're looking to invest in and create and make something really, really big, hopefully down the line. That's the way I would see it. Just because Gunther is a little bit different than most. He is the ring general, and I love that. He's a throwback to what wrestling was back in the day. You can believe Gunther kicking somebody's ass without a doubt, without batting an eye. You know, so that's why I say, a guy like Gunther, he's on that list, that protected list. You got to make sure you keep this guy in good standings because we got something planned for him.
And we have to acknowledge anytime we talk about Gunther that he did eliminate Booker T from the Royal Rumble.
That right there, you know, that rub right there alone should put him, make him world class caliber status. You know what I mean? Seriously.
That's world champion for life material right there.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hey man, you know what? And I don't mean to pick on Jerry Lawler at all, and I hope he's recovering well. But I remember he did Raw. He did Raw, filling in commentary for somebody. Maybe it was Corey Graves, and Gunther was wrestling, and he kept calling him Gunther. And that just tickled the hell out of me. I'm like, who the hell is Gunther? Sounds like some medieval swordsman. Gunther.
I can't make fun of it, man, because sometimes on NXT, man, I had the biggest problem remembering these names. It ain't funny.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I can't mess with him on that one.
Much love to Jerry Lawler. Hope he's doing well. We have another one here. This is from Jamal Staudermeyer, who says, BT, I watched the old school SmackDown episode where you, Taker, Stone Cold, Rock, RVD, Kane, Kurt, Jericho, Shane, Big Show did each other's best finishers on each other. How much fun was that ending?
You know, man, honestly, I do remember, doing a whole lot of stuff with those guys, but when we did stuff like that, I don't know, I really never thought about it as being fun. Certain things I thought about being fun, like doing the stuff with The Rock after, certain shows went off the air. Of course, trying to get the guys to do the Spinaroonie, getting Vince McMahon. That kind of stuff is always funny, but when you're working like this right here, it's always work. It's always, timing. It's always trying to make it look good for you guys to feel a moment from it, just like you remember it. Now, you went back and watched it, and hopefully you felt the same way when you watched it this time, when you saw it back then. So it was always about trying to make you guys feel a certain way. So for me, it's hard for me to say how certain things felt unless it was something that really made me, that touched me inside. That was just work. Yeah.
But you know what? It always makes the fans feel. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was my job. I always tell fans, they say, man, do you remember such and such? And I go, man, I was working, man. I was working to make you feel a certain way so you can come tell me about it now, and then you can make me remember it. We'll talk. It's almost like that, so. But
you want to know something that's really interesting, and you brought up the guy who came up to you at the Rose show afterward, and I'm around you enough to where I get to see the fans that approach you, and they always have moments, right, that they bring up like this. But the coolest thing about the fans is you get old fans, you get young fans. You get men, you get women, you get boys, you get girls, you get black, you get white, you get Hispanic. And I don't think I've seen, like, wrestling definitely touches all corners, and it is universal language. But your fan base is so diverse and spans over so many different age brackets and tax brackets and racial lines and political lines and religious lines. Have you ever sat and thought about that?
It's all been by design, man. From the beginning, I never want to be looked at as just a black wrestler. I never, that's why I say, man.
But you are a wrestler who brought in a black audience. Other people didn't.
Yeah, that's
true. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like in part.
I definitely tried to make sure I catered to my audience as well, but I just made sure I didn't alienate anybody else.
Right.
I think that's what I tried to do more so than anything. And trust me, there were difficult times, being the babyface, wrestling another babyface, being the black guy. The other babyface might be a white guy who the fans are going to cheer for. It's one of those type of things, but I somehow, found my way through, this business and made people look at me as a performer, entertainer, and that's it, but do I represent my people? Of course. I always say when I said the N-word on television, that was the worst day of my life, because I felt like I represent my people. A lot of people say it wasn't that bad, but for me, it was my worst moment. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta just to come see one Mr. for the World. It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America.
It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent. It's very rare on in these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston. It's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
You can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! A Davidson driver!
It's very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush.
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. And we just talking a little something, talking about wrestling, taking a few super chats. We still got a whole lot more news that's out there in the social media world we got to talk about. But let's keep it rolling, Brad.
Yeah, let me take more of these super chats. Macy says, Macy became a YouTube channel member. We appreciate you, Mace.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me say that right. Oh, yeah.
We appreciate you, Mace. Willie McMichael says, our first wrestling show was Summer of Champions 1. Love the full circle moment this past weekend. Everyone killed it. Thank you for allowing us to be there and being part of Row Nation.
We appreciate it, man. Summer Champions 1 all the way to 9, and we're moving forward. We got a lot in store for you guys as far as reality of wrestling goes. That was our breakout moment for this year, but I think it's only going to get bigger and better going from here. So, guys, just stay tuned. If you want to be a part of reality of wrestling, of course, all you got to do is go to realityofwrestling.com. Do it now. I do it for you.
Yes, absolutely. We also have one for Asino Dub again. First time seeing Culture Inc. Those dudes are amazing. Not going to lie, I've been sleeping on Jacob Fatu. Would you prefer to see him in AEW or WWE? You can take that first part, second part first.
WWE, of course. Definitely want to see Jacob in WWE. I think he belongs there just because he's that damn good. Not saying that he wouldn't fit in AEW or anything like that. Not at all. But he is truly, he's amazing. He really is. As far as Culture Inc. goes, those guys are A1 as far as tag team goes. Malik, Jay, Eli. I'm gonna tell you right now, Eli Knight. He's a really, really young kid. He's got so much growth. His skills right now are really, I'm serious, second level, extraordinary. He can do anything in the middle of that square circle. I haven't seen a talent like Eli Knight come along in a long, long time. And I'm not just saying that. This kid is that good. And he's definitely going to make it to that next level one day. But right now, Culture Inc. is the tag team in reality wrestling. I love
those guys, man. Every time I see them, it's always a welcome response. Warm reception. And I did have a question for you, though, now that I'm thinking about Culture Inc. What did Malik do to you to deserve such a stiff right hand on Saturday night? I mean, good Lord, man.
Bro, after I hit him, I felt so bad.
I was like, damn.
I swear to God, I felt so bad after I hit him, man, because I was like, I did not try to hit him that hard. It was just like hitting Steve Austin or something.
I mean, I was about 8 feet away, and it was loud for me. And then when I talked to somebody else who was on the opposite side of the ring, about 7, 8 rows back, they were like, that was a loud hit. I'm like, yeah, man.
I think it was the isotoners, man. You know,
and that backwood cigar
better pop. You know, so.
Oh, it makes a better pop. I thought you were saying when you put those toners on, it just made you feel a certain way.
No. They just give you a better pop, better sound, I guess. But I did whack him pretty good. I apologize after the show, after the match. I was like, man, I'm sorry, man. I really didn't mean it. Malik said, man, if I can't take that, I shouldn't be here.
Damn.
That's what he said. So I appreciate that. I
Malik's
know I got him good. Yeah.
You whacked the hell out of him, man. I was like, he must have said something to him on the way out.
It was good. That was like one of the best scenes of the whole show for me. Referee did a really, really good job. Referee was definitely on point. I mean, God, man, it was a great show. Can't wait for everybody out there to have a chance to see it live. Yeah. Well, pre-recorded, whatever.
But see it on the channel. I mean, it'll be on the YouTube. If you're a channel member, you will be getting that live. So everyone who subscribed today as a channel member, you will be getting that soon, before anybody else. Our CW39 audience here in H-Town, y'all be getting it real soon as well. You can see it over several weeks, the Summer of Champions 9, and then everybody else will get it on YouTube soon enough. But, this is a great time to become a channel member. We're going to have a lot more content rolling out for everybody. There's actually one thing that I've been meaning to bring up to you that we really need to. I need the footage. And maybe Kevin has it. Maybe you have it. But this is something that people don't even know about. There are these tapes out there that you did yourself from like 07, 08, 09-ish era of you on the road with TNA.
Oh, yeah. But Kevin's supposed to be producing that stuff for me.
I think Kevin's had those tapes for about 9 years now. He's busy. He's a busy man. Kev, I love you.
I'll tell you right now, there's some good stuff on those tapes. Some really, really good stuff. Some of my good TNA road stories that I was pretty much just chronicling myself. I would go down to, a burger joint and I'm filming it, you know what I mean? I walk in just to let the people, see their reaction, Booker T walking in. Some places I would walk in, nobody knew who the hell I was. Or why? Some places I would walk in and they would go, why are you here? Some people would go, I thought you was retired. So it's a lot of good stuff on those tapes.
Oh man, I got to get my hands on them. So that we can really get that out, produce that. So that's just and that's something that would come. The reason I brought that up, that's something that would come to the channel members. First you see the TNA tapes from Booker T and see what it was like being on the road for that company for those couple of years.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt, brother. Now, you said that there were some news stories that we definitely needed to make sure that we brought up. What's on your mind? Like, where do you want to start here? Because there's been several things happening in the world of wrestling as of late, but is there something specifically you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, one thing that's going on right now is I was reading that Nick Aldis is wrapping up at Impact Wrestling. And WWE is got a lot of interest in Nick Aldis. And I remember talking about Nick Aldis on the show about, 3 months ago?
Something like that.
3 months ago, right when he was just becoming a free agent off of the NWA run. He became a free agent, then went to Impact Wrestling. People were, made a lot about my statement when I said, whether Nick Aldis was still in his prime or not. And I said, I didn't think he was in his prime because your prime years is going to be your prime money-making years, whatnot, but I didn't say anything negative about Nick Aldis or anything. People tried to make it kind of negative, but my thing is now Nick Aldis being a free agent again and WWE having some interest in Nick Aldis, should they pick him up? Would he be a good pickup? I say, yeah. He'll be a good pickup because Nick Aldis, 35, 36 years old, something like that?
Somewhere in that range, maybe a little older.
I mean, he's a guy who's mature enough to understand what this business is about more than anything. And that's what
36.
Yeah, and that's what I say about, guys, coming into WWE. They got to be seasoned a lot of times in order to really, really understand, what that thing is about. That's why I think LA Knight is doing so good, because he's such a mature dude. He understands what the end game is more than anything. And the end game is, let me go out here and get over by any means necessary, because my clock is ticking. The sand in the hourglass is running out. And I think a guy like Nick Aldis would definitely be an addition to that WWE roster, and perhaps in some way, in some form. I don't know it. I don't know exactly how, but I do think Nick Aldis is a name. I think his name has some value to it around the world, not just in Impact Wrestling. I think you say the name Nick Aldis, pretty much, if you're in the wrestling world, you're gonna know who he is.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think he's got. I mean, 36. I mean, that's when you say you started really you started feeling it around that age, you know?
Yeah. That's when I really started learning how to work. It's when I really started understanding what the business was all about. So I really was like in cruise control when I was, in my mid 30s, going into my 40s. I was in total cruise control. I didn't have to think, about a match at all. I'm working with some kid. I'm like, bro, relax. You know what I mean? We got it. Don't worry about it. We're going to go out. It's going to be good. It's one of those type of things. So yeah, I feel like he's prime as far as that goes, and mature enough to understand, what the system is truly all about.
Yeah, and so I think that him in WWE, there's a role for him there. There's a spot for him in WWE. Just figuring out exactly what it is. It doesn't shock me that they have interest. I'm sure there's a couple wrestling companies, that might have their eye on him, but I think he'd be a good pickup. I think he's got a WWE feel to him, personally.
I think so. You know what? No doubt he does.
Yeah.
No doubt. I think would he fit in? I think so.
Yeah. I think he definitely fit in, man.
I really do. I really do. And I think what I think about, with Nick Aldis and him actually, perhaps coming in, is how it was back in the day when you hear about a name guy coming in, you want to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has that appeal to Nick Aldis coming in. You're going to want to tune in just to see what he's going to do on WWE TV.
Yeah, there's an interest there.
It's a difference. That's a big difference. You know what I mean? So I would love to see Nick Aldis, if that was to happen, I would love to see it. Let's just say that. I'm not advocating for it or anything like that. I'm not rooting against it or anything like that. But if it happened, I'd love to see how that experiment played out.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that we're due for a break right now. We got more on the back end, according to my clock here.
All right, man. See what your clock says. See if it's in coordination. Yeah, we need to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Coming to you from ESPN and Sub 592.5, and just talking a little wrestling, everything sports and entertainment, as well as all of our super chatters. We thank you guys for always being a part of the show, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, baby. But let's keep it rolling.
You know what? I want to talk about, you were just talking about a great Englishman who might be joining the WWE. Why don't we talk about an Aussie who's making a lot of headway? And that's your guy from NXT, Grayson Waller. We saw him at at Money in the Bank in London. And he was out there, of course, and he had a little of a run-in with John Cena. And then in Madison Square Garden, he had a match with Edge. And now he's in a social media battle with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and calling Dwayne out. And people are thinking we might see The Rock at SummerSlam, especially with this SAG-AFTRA strike going on. The Rock can't work on any television or movie projects right now because the actors are on strike. What do you think about Grayson Waller and kind of how he's being positioned?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit. Guy like Grayson Waller is, I said he was mature enough to make it on the main roster. I thought he fit right in on the main roster. He's almost like a young Miz. I wouldn't say too younger of a Miz because he's not like a kid or anything like that. Right. But he's definitely has that Miz appeal. He's a guy that can go out there and talk very, very well. His wrestling ability is good enough to pass the smell test as far as I'm concerned. And one thing he has more than anything is star appeal. That's what I like with this kid. He has star appeal. You want to love to hate this dude. I'm serious. You're going to want to love to hate Grayson Waller. So I'm not surprised as far as, them positioning him this way. But the one thing I've noticed more than anything is he's been able to handle the position that he's been in. Going out there doing the stuff with Edge, he did a great job. His talking, the way he, carries himself, he's doing a great job. I see nothing wrong that Grayson Waller's doing thus far.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a great job, man. And look, they're not going to put you in those positions if they don't think that you can live up to it. I mean, doing an in-ring segment with John Cena, who's not around a whole hell of a lot anymore. Edge, who's already talking about winding his career down, and The Rock. It's big. That's big, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this right here too. Grayson Waller wouldn't have been doing those segments or been in the ring with those guys if those guys didn't want to be in the ring with him.
Right.
It's almost like a rite of passage. It's almost like a test, from the guys that came before you. For me, I knew the ones that were good. And I go, man, people might have not thought John Cena was going to be as good as he was going to be. I remember the first time getting in the ring with him, and I go, man, this guy's a great listener. That's what I thought more than anything. Man, that's all he wanted to do was just listen, and having that attitude took him all the way freaking to the moon. So I see a guy like Grayson Waller. I think he has that same appeal. Yeah.
So big shout out to Grayson Waller. Well, and another NXT story though, your guy Elton Prince from Pretty Deadly, unfortunately sidelined. What advice could you give to him at this moment in time? Kind of getting the shine on him for a minute, and now has to take a step back.
I watched some of the match, and I was looking for the injury and how it happened, and I really couldn't tell, how it actually happened. I saw him take up some big bumps in there with Ridge Holland, and I heard Ridge Holland, from the criticism and backlash that he got on Twitter, he had to shut his account down.
Yeah,
which is really, really crazy.
Green.
Yeah. Stuff like that happens in the ring all the time. Ridge Holland, of course, has had some bad luck, being in the ring and guys getting hurt, and you can be labeled as something you don't want to be, and you really don't need somebody on the internet labeling you just so perhaps one day people can look at you that way. Yeah, I get that. But try to, only way to avoid injury is, correct stuff sometime yourself. I mean, it's hard to avoid injury sometimes. The old saying, Brad, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when something like that's going to happen. I mean, I've had my injuries before. I'm in the ring with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy gave me a hip toss. Just didn't give it to me hard enough, and I pulled my groin so bad, thought I broke my hip. Was that Matt Hardy's fault? No, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Stuff like that happens in the ring, and it happens all the time.
I mean, you remember when Seth Rollins was pegged as a dangerous guy for a minute?
Yeah,
because he had, I think and it just so happened to all would be within 4 or 5 months of each other, but he broke Cena's nose, or they had a miscommunication. Cena's nose was broken in the match. Finn Balor's shoulder got separated in the match, and Sting had his issue. And it just so happened all be with Seth. But remember, Seth ate that and took that on the chin for like a year. People were calling him an unsafe worker. Look at him now. weather through the storm, one of the best workers in the world today.
Yeah.
But you can. You're right. You can be labeled, whether it's warranted or not, whether it's actual or not.
Yeah.
You can, and you don't want that. And I think it's all. By the way, I think it's awful and this isn't just in wrestling fan culture. This is in all culture today. When somebody's having a bad day, people online want to do the thing that you're not supposed to do, kick a man while he's down. And Ridge Holland should not have had to shut his social media account down because a lot of people are out there sitting there just wanting, they say misery loves company.
Yeah.
And a bunch of miserable people out there want to try to make you even more miserable when you feel bad about something. And I don't know Ridge Holland at all, but hope you're doing all right, man, because I know these people can get to you. They can't. We all say like, oh, we block them and we try, but they can still get to you.
I get a lot of praise, for my commentary on NXT, but I get so many people that kill me on a regular basis. They're like the worst commentator in the history of the world. But for me, I just say, man, they just want my job. They just wish they was me. That's the way I look at it. People are gonna be cruel, man. I just think I'm just glad I didn't have to grow up in this social media world. But when I was a kid, I used to get in fights all the time just because kids would call me Booger instead of calling me Booker. So I can only imagine what they would call me if I had social media back then. So it's crazy, man. Young people, man, try to get past this, man. It's life. Seriously.
We do have a couple more super chats, but before I take them, I have one other thing I wanted to ask you about because there is a lot of smoke around this fire regarding All Elite Wrestling. Warner Brothers Discovery, rumor is they want AEW to move to the monthly pay-per-view schedule like WWE is on. Fans are split on this. I don't think it's a great idea. Not because could they do 12 pay-per-views a year? Sure. Anyway, you could do it. It's just another show. You put it on Sunday. You stream it on pay-per-view. Do you think that the fans would want to see 12 AEW pay-per-views a year? I think 4 right now is great. They want to expand, go to 6, maybe. But I wouldn't go 12. That's a huge jump from 4 to 12.
Well, not just 4 to 12. But when you got a TV on, 3 nights a week and pay-per-view a month, that's just going to be way too much TV for the fan to digest. It's going to be like force feeding them. It's going to be like, overdoing it. That's just the way I see it. That's just my opinion. But I can understand why, they would want it because they're thinking about the dollar signs. They're thinking about the bottom line and how much money and how much revenue we can create. I get that. Yeah. So
I get it from that perspective, but too, like with WWE, they've got, their deal with Peacock to where their performance isn't really based on sales of pay-per-views. It's an overall deal of content that Peacock's licensing. With Warner Brothers Discovery for AEW, that's put us a lot of pressure on AEW to sell pay-per-views. Like you got to give something people want to buy for. I think their pay-per-views are like $59.99 every month.
Like I say, doing it is one thing, making money is another.
Right. That's a great point.
So can they do it? Yes. Being able to create enough, content that people want to look at, that they can really invest in, where the numbers are going to be high enough and the buy rate is going to be high enough to where you really getting your money's worth out of putting that live show on, because the satellite alone, all that stuff going to cost you a lot of money. I'm not even on the inside of that part of it. I'm just a small company. Reality wrestling. We work hard for our artists, but that kind of stuff right there is still out of my, range of knowledge, as far as how much that kind of stuff really, really costs. But I remember just hearing the numbers of how much it costs to produce a live Monday Night Raw back in the day, and the numbers was like $250,000 a show back then.
Yeah. So, it's 3 times that.
Yes. And yes. So that's the way I'm looking at that. But we got to take another break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shup, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. This show's going by like crazy, man. I swear, man. Quick. It's gone by, but it's been good. It's been real good.
We do have a couple super chats to get to before the show ends, but I do actually want to ask, and I don't know if you've been following it, but I would be interested to know your opinion on it, having been somebody in a major motion picture. What are your thoughts on all this stuff going on with the SAG-AFTRA strike? Have you paid much attention to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really big. These top dogs that really don't need the money to step up for the guys that are really struggling and could use a little bit more help. The Matt Damons of the world seem like the real big high rollers. That don't really need to do this. Stepping up. So I totally understand where they're coming from. Those guys in Hollywood, the money that they make and the money that they're dishing out, the stars are making the money. You know what I mean? But a lot of guys on that set aren't making a whole lot. So those guys having union and taking care of each other, I get it. Yeah, totally, I get it.
It's crazy too. I mean, when I was reading up on some of the things that they're fighting for, it makes so much sense. Like this is what studios want to do. They want to have a day player, which is somebody who you just hire for the day, normally to be a background actor or something. They want to be able to hire the day player, the background actor, to come in. They do a scan of their body, right? Face scan and everything. And they want to be able to digitally put this background actor in any film the studio ever makes forever, in perpetuity, and pay you one time for that and tell you, thanks, kid, get on out of here, so that they don't have to pay another background actor down the road. That's foul, man.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So if I was in that world, I'll probably be right there with them.
I'd be on the picket lines. And I didn't know that Fran Drescher was the president of SAG-AFTRA. Fran Fine, the nanny.
Yeah.
Nanny was living up to her name back in the day. Fran Fine was Fran Fine, man.
Nah, she was talking big too, man.
She was.
Like, I'm probably never gonna work again, but
no, she's dope. So I'm standing in solidarity with all of them, man. Go out there and get your money, get your bag, get what you're worth. More than anything, but we got a couple more super chats here. Loso Dolo said, "Book, you should vlog in NXT like you did in TNA."
Ooh, good idea.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
People want to see it, man. The people want to see it. You know me, I'm all about the people.
Our next one here, Darren Walker says, have you been able to see FTR versus Bullet Club Gold on Saturday? One of the best tag matches in years.
On Saturday? No.
We were busy.
On Saturday, I didn't watch FTR and the Bullet Club, what's it called?
Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, Bullet Club Gold. I didn't see that. No, but I do give those two tag teams high praise, especially when they work together. They go out there and they pull off a bunch of acrobatics, bunch of stuff that you don't see, in traditional tag team wrestling. I can tell you that. And FTR, those guys have stepped up to the plate as far as no flips, just fists.
That's right, man. I'm a fan of both these teams. I didn't get to see the match. I think I heard, and I could be wrong on this, I think I heard they went like 58 minutes.
Did they get 10 stars?
I think they got 75. I was with somebody the other day, and they were telling me that, and I'm going to get the actual numbers wrong, but like in WWE's history, they've only, in the entire history of the company, there's only been 9 5-star matches on the main roster. 9, right? In its history. And AEW has something like 33 in 4 years.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle never had a 5-star match. Booker T never had a 5-star match, according to those.
I don't even think Steamboat Savage was a 5-star.
It probably wasn't. Probably wasn't.
But that's another story. We got any more super chats?
Yes, we do. This is from Asino Dub again, man. You've really been coming through today. We appreciate you, brother. In my opinion, Saturday night prime time is a terrible time slot for a weekly wrestling show. Thoughts? And how should that show's success be measured? We talked about this recently. He's talking about AEW Collision. I think that Warner Brothers Discovery probably has a number in their mind. And as long as, and it's probably lower than what we think. Because normally they're not getting, we talked about this, like we're not watching TNT on Saturday night normally. So if they can draw any audience, I'm sure it's a win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know what the measuring stick as far as, what they're looking for or anything like that. But I think if those numbers were to slip below a couple of 100,000 people a week watching it, I think they'd have a problem.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe.
So I think there again, if they're up over 300, I think, they might be pretty safe just because, like you say, I think it's the low number we're thinking about opposed to the high number on a show like that.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. So I think that they know what internally they're looking for. And then Joe Cronin, I mean, we'll read it, but we've already talked about it. Says, any response to Ryback for his crazy rant on you?
I want him. I want him.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, we already addressed that on the top of the show. You can go back and watch.
UFC, Starbucks.
We might be going to Las Vegas soon, and Vegas is prime for a fight.
We are going to Vegas soon. What are you talking about? We might be going to Vegas.
I didn't know if we were telling everybody. Yeah.
We're telling everybody right now. Spence Crawford going down in a couple of weeks, man. We're gonna be there. It's gonna be an awesome night. I can't wait to see this fight. This is pretty much the fight of the year. Garcia versus Tank. Everybody was talking about that was the fight of the year. Now this right here is definitely stepped right into that slot. Everybody been waiting on Spence Crawford. Everybody's wondering whose O is got to go. And this fight right here, this is definitely Hagler Hearns all over again, man. I mean, and I remember as a little bitty boy watching Hagler Hearns, and I can't wait for this matchup as well. Seriously.
It's gonna be good, man. And I know a lot of people love Terrence Crawford, a lot of people love Errol Spence Jr. Spence, we got to see him fight Showtime Sean Porter in Los Angeles, and then you interviewed him on the show, and I got a lot of love for that guy, especially after his horrific car accident. That he's able to come back and box again is a miracle in itself. A lefty, and me being a fellow lefty, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm excited for this fight, Book, because you're right. I think that Garcia and Tank, it was an awesome atmosphere. Just even in the weigh-ins was an awesome atmosphere. Man. This one, I feel like it might even take it another level up.
Bro, it's going to be good, man. T-Mobile Arena going down July 29th. Myself, Brad, we're going to be there covering this fight for the Hall of Fame, ESPN 97.5, 92.5. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. So, guys, stay tuned. We got a whole lot more for you coming on the action as far as that fight go. Who you got? Who you got, Brad?
I'm right now. I got Spence,
and I'm leaning Crawford, man. I'm leaning Crawford.
I know you are.
Let's keep it rolling.
Well, let's say Spence Crawford. Let's just look real quick. We're in our last minutes of the show. We got to tell all the super chats. I want to see what the odds are right now. Right now, let's see. What are the odds? The odds are, well, this is the money line fight outcome.
It's going to be an even fight. Nobody's going to have a big advantage in that fight right there.
Trying to find the. So Crawford, I know it's even right now. Spence is at plus 180. Crawford's at plus 185.
I'll tell you, man, that the money, you're not going to make a lot of money on that
now,
fight.
On OddsShark 8 days ago, so this has probably changed since then, they had Crawford as the minus 175 favorite. But minus the 175 isn't a huge favorite. You know, I mean, it's essentially, that's essentially even when you really think about it. So, I mean, people know this is going to be a close one, but the money's going to be there in Vegas, man. They're going to be betting.
I can't wait. I'm serious, man.
I think I might even place a bet this time.
You know what? I'm placing a bet this time.
Are we going to bet against each other?
Probably. Perhaps. That way we both win money.
There we go. Now, I don't know if I'm going to place as big of a bet as you might place. Your bank. I don't want to play big bank, take little bank with you. But.
Hey, no, man. Look, I swear, man, I'm so looking forward to this fight. This may be the fight of the year.
But why do you say Crawford?
You know, I go back to the Sean Porter. You know, the one fight that, you know, these, not the one fight, but the one fight that I'm thinking about that these two have in common. Both guys fought Sean Porter. Both guys, you know, went out there and performed at a very, very high level. But I just thought Terrence Crawford performed at a much higher level than Errol Spence did. And Errol Spence went out there, and I know we only got about 30 seconds left. Errol Spence went out there and he fought Showtime Sean Porter's fight. He was a dog. He went right into his world. He went right into his wheelhouse, right into his kitchen, and took everything from Showtime Sean Porter. But when Terrence Crawford fought him, Terrence Crawford just went out there and beat the hell out of Sean Porter and just stopped him. When a referee had to have the wherewithal, the understanding, and know how to just stop it. That's why I feel like Terrence Crawford, that boy from Omaha, Nebraska, might go out there and do it. But we're going to see. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. I can't wait to see it. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, super chatters, man. You guys will keep this show here inside the Hall of Fame. Keep us rolling, man. We appreciate you. We love you, dog. We really do. And Brad, as always, for all the heavy lifting here inside the Hall of Fame. We appreciate you. But right now, guys, we out of here. Peace.